Hi, everyone. Thank you for dialing in to talk about life. And just want to share with the listeners, the viewers, subscribers, and followers, and strangers who are just tuning in from the internet world. This is a February special from Talk About Life. It's called The Prolonged Pandemic. We Hear You. It's a show that's dedicated to the people, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, teachers, students, workers, job seekers, transitional workers, essential workers, frontline providers, keepers, um, families. So this show is about the people. And I'm here in Singapore, and we've got today a very special guest, Lamar Wallace. He's a father, and he's there in the US. And I've invited him as my very special co-host for every Thursday, 9 p.m. prime time Singapore, which is 8 a.m. Standard Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, and 5 a.m. Pacific Time. So anyone who's diving in, listening in now, watching it now, or at the replay again and again online, I hope that we share our hopes and our thoughts with you and let you know that we are here with you as a moral support to show the world that even regardless of where you are across the oceans, across the globe, there's someone there who hears you, and there's someone there who's going through the same lives as you. And I hope that this gives a little bit of comfort to some of us out there, and especially those in different countries. There are actually in severe lockdown. And when there's a lockdown in so many countries, as I'm talking to people all over the world, it's second or third or fourth lockdown, it affects the lives of the people. Jobs are lost, businesses close down, mom and pop stores, businesses struggle, and there's not much to dig into the flour pot. There's not much to dig into the wallet. There's not much to find food in the fridge. So this show is dedicated to everyone, wherever you are. Asia, Africa, Europe, America, South America, Central America, different parts of big parts of America, Australia, people who are dialing in. So today is the show from the people for the people with my co-host Lamar Wallace. How are you, Lamar? Tell us what's happening there in the US. The floor is
Oh,
yours.
Vicky, Vicky, thank you for having me. I'm just here on behalf of I Often Wonder, the podcast that I do with Jamel and Alexis, that we have had the pleasure of talking with you a few times. But I love what you opened the show with, as in when it comes to people being relatable, as in we're all going through the same struggle, and I think that's the most accurate statement somebody has ever said in a long time, because we are all trying to survive this pandemic, regardless of where you are in this world. And unfortunately, this pandemic has literally turned this into a survival of the fittest situation. But what the news is not reporting is that there's so much support amongst everybody in the community. I opened up my own catering company last October in 2020, and crazy enough, I don't know why I did it in a pandemic, but I felt it was my dream and I needed to get it out. I needed to start it. And the people that I work with at this commissary is just literally catering company on top of catering company. And when I say that community is not only affected by the pandemic, but it brought everybody to work together. I mean, there's no competition. There's no I'm making so much money as a caterer over here. Forget what you're doing. I don't care if you survive or not. It's literally people who you know you never really met, but they are in the same boat as you, and they're literally saying, I know you're trying to your best to survive as a new starting catering company or anything that of the sort. And we help each other advertise. You know what I'm saying? Like we all got Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. You know, we sample each other's food. Oh, that was delicious. And we get on the phone and like, hey, try these guys. If you're looking for wings or if you're looking for macaroons like desserts, you look for ice cream. And when I say like that mindset is going to make sure that everybody survives this crazy time. And yeah, crazy time. And it's like that in the community out here in Raleigh, North Carolina. There are literally people that are living on their last few cents trying to make it month to month. And you got people that come up with donation, they're rallying. The community is rallying around each other. As much as the pandemic wants to make it a survival of the fittest, right now, the only way that everyone is surviving is we're doing this together. That's the only way. And it it brings everything full circle. It brings everything to light that it's not always been a competition amongst each other. Especially when you dealing with something of this magnitude as this pandemic, people are really taking the time to get outside themselves and really notice what the community needs. And community needs unity. And that's the only way that everybody's been surviving. I mean, families, friends, you know, you got to make sure that you love each other and give each other their flowers right here. Because this pandemic, if one thing, it definitely has humbled a lot of people. So um that's what's going on in our world over here in America. Is as much as the media likes to portray certain images and they want to make it a black and white issue, that and we just got through with the whole inauguration and politics and stuff with dealing with presidents. you know Most people just they you pay attention to it, but at some point you just be like, we got to make sure that we take care of each other. And I think a lot of things with the politics going on and the separation and the division, a lot of people they're tired of that. They're tired of that narrative. They're tired of hearing it. Vicky, we just even before we got on, I can't even tell you the last time I saw the news. It's
Yeah.
filled with so much negativity. It's filled with so
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
division that it it's like I feel like they are literally strategically trying to depress us, and it gets annoying and it gets heavy. But once you get out there in these streets and literally you just if you just communicate with people, I mean, I didn't ran into plenty of people. I ran into a mechanic. Um, I usually kind of go out with my catering company and sell plates door to door. But I ran into a mechanic that literally drives like almost an hour and a half to work every day. And I'm like, what's the point of doing that, man? Like, are you making any money? He goes, oh, I'm not worried about the money. It's just that I knew that where I lived, the jobs and the chance to make income were small. But at the same time, even driving that hour and a half to work, I'm driving to not just coworkers. I'm driving to an extended family, and I thought about it. I'm like, what what exactly would motivate you to keep doing it? He goes, I don't want to leave them stranded. They're short staffed, and these guys have been like family to me. They always look out for me. If I need more hours, they got it for me. If anything that I can ask for, they have it. So I would feel real wrong to transfer and work closer to my home. And I'm like, wow, in the middle of a pandemic, he's not worried about the hour and a half drive to get to work. He's of course he has bills and things to pay,
Mhm.
but he's looking at the bigger picture where I know I'm in a work environment where people care about me, and we're working as a team, we're getting things done, and it's that type of attitude it takes to get through this. And I'm amazed day by day at the attitudes of people in this community where it's so much love, it's so much unity. And as much as the media likes to try to divide us, it quite honestly, I think this pandemic has brought a lot of people closer together because we're all in the same boat right now. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
there's yeah,
true.
there's no time to sit.
That's why I'm meeting you here. We're in the same
Yeah,
boat.
yeah, we're all in the same boat. And so
Yeah.
I think the media, and I'm glad that we're doing this because I'm not sure how much the media is going to actually take the time out to shine the light on the
Yeah.
unity
Yeah.
and the commonality that people are literally just trying to come together to get through this. And who knows how long this timetable is going to be.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm it warms my heart. It gives me joy. It gives me hope. I'm very optimistic of the future of what is going to happen because um dealing with I have two young daughters, and so um that always makes, as a parent, it makes me very fearful of what exactly is in store for my
Yeah.
children. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
Um, and especially with a lot, I mean, even though COVID it has been hitting, there's still been a lot of new families. There's been people having, you know, kids every day. You know what I'm saying? So, they're in the same boat too. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I got a newborn. What
Yeah.
world am I bringing my kid into?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and as much craziness as a pandemic is bringing,
Yeah.
stories like that help me emotionally
Yeah.
because I mean this is a time that a lot of people can easily get depressed and down and tune everybody out and try to take on a lot of stuff solo. But I mean, I've had so much love and support, even starting my own catering company, from family and friends, even people in the community. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a McDonald's Fortune 500
Yeah.
restaurant over here yet, but I mean, I keep I keep trying, I keep staying consistent, and there's people that love and support what I do, and it's the same way.
Yeah.
There's, I think the people who don't who don't understand that this is not the time to be selfish.
Yeah.
That people need to understand that this is not the time
Yeah.
to try to be Superman and think you
Yeah.
can do it all on your
Yeah.
own.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not saying that they're going to fail, but
Yeah.
it's going to be hard. It's going to
Yeah.
be hard for you.
Yeah.
Like, and one thing I want people to understand is that you don't have to do this alone. You don't have to go through this whole pandemic and this whole
Well said.
crazy. Yeah, they don't
Well
have to
said.
go through life
Well said. You
alone.
don't have to go through it alone. Well said.
Yeah, I mean, and I had to figure that out sometimes too. Just humanistically, we just think that we can always get through certain situations and scenarios by yourself. And I'm here to tell you, man, you don't have to. You
Yeah. Yeah.
if you stick your hand out for help, I'm telling you, there will be somebody there
Yeah.
on the other end to help pick you up. And I don't need no numbers. I don't need no scientists to tell me whether that's true or not. I see it.
Yeah.
I see people literally. if they had the last shirt on their back and you needed it, there's people giving it to you.
And Lamar, I think you've raised quite a few things that is so relevant to every one of us, no matter where you are, no matter which country you are. I think it's relevant to us. I think that is the community support that you talked about. Like, for example, you were talking about your new catering business. You had the whole community to came in to support you either through encouragement, through the review of food, just with a text message, etc., or just blasting it out through their groups, their Facebook. It's just like helping each other without competition, because it is a community. We're in this together, and I think that people are humbled, and people have this revelation that yes, we are in this together, and we have to go through and get through to the other side. And my mantra is always about getting to the chasm, crossing the chasm safely as one. And also, you talked about the truck driver. These are the real people we're talking about. They are the everyday man in the street. You and I, we're not like what you say, the Fortune 500. Neither are we the Prince Harry. The royal. I mean, nobody knows us. We are
Yeah.
non-existent. And if we die one day, we go down to the earth. Only our families will care, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is the people like the truck drivers that you spoke about. I think it is people like you and I. It is the bricks of a community that builds the whole community. It isn't about policies, legislation, regulations. It's about people making a particular culture, the acceptance, the respect, the love, the regard, the looking out for each other. I think that is so important. Like, I think that thing is about the looking out. And you talked about the truck driver. Why does he go and drive 1.5 hours? And these are something that we try to decipher. It is so important. Why does someone want to keep a job when the pay is much lower? Why does someone want to keep a job when it's tougher? It's really because of the people.
Yes.
It's really because of the people that forms the community in that particular organization. It could be a small company, it could be a medium-sized company, So I would think that what you're saying is so true. That rings a bell. I have not watched the news since the pandemic. I've totally shut it out. I've stopped my Bloomberg. I've stopped looking at the stocks. I've stopped hearing what people have to say to you. It's about you discovering the world. And it's sometimes like what you say, about the media. I'm not so much. I don't read so much about the international news nowadays, except for people's lives, the numbers, the pandemic. Because we have this. This is what I'm concerned about. My community, my people. You are my people, and I'm your people because we're one.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, because we're one. I mean, there's no one country can get out of this safely. No one country.
No.
Because the countries are all connected. That's why the planes are shut, because once the plane flies, it's going to connect again. Every country is being connected. And I totally echo your what you say about the humbling experience, about people just realizing that, hey, people need people.
Yes.
And this is especially so when in a very prolonged social distancing period.
It is, yes.
And that's why even me talking to you showed that I meet someone like you, and you listening to me, you realize someone needed you. It works both ways, right?
It does. It does.
I would like to hear from you what's happening in your community in that part of the world in the US. Likewise, you wanted to hear from me, like, okay, this is someone who's new. I've never talked to someone in that part of the globe. It's the pandemic. Why is she dialing up to me? Why is she asking me these questions? Right? Because suddenly people wake up. people feel that this world is really small. I
Yeah,
think, like what you
it is.
say, if the world has woken up in this pandemic, people have woken up that, hey, we are as one. Because whatever happens in the States, if the United States doesn't get the numbers down, it's going to affect another country, right? And if Europe doesn't get its numbers down, it's going to affect another country, right?
Yo, you're right. I mean,
It goes all ways. It is
it's fu-
unilateral. It just goes all ways.
it's funny that you say that because I don't think a lot of people realize how other countries affect other countries when it comes to exporting and importing goods. I mean, there's going to be certain resources that Singapore uh,
Needs.
personally has that United States does not have, and so there's going to be times that United States is going to have to reach out to Singapore and be like, look, you have resources, you have abundance amount. Let's partner on this. Like, let's
Yeah.
make some type of deal where you give us some things that we need, and there might be some resources that we have that you
Of
need.
course.
You know what I'm saying? So, and
Of course. Of course.
that's been at the beginning of time.
Beginning of
You
time.
This partnership in everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I love what we're doing
Yeah.
with this show, is because you have to realize that there's going to be certain things that you can't do, and there's going to be certain things that you just don't have access to.
Yeah.
That's why you build those partnerships and
Yeah.
you build those relationships, because there can be certain things that another person can help you with to what you need, and you can help them with what they need.
Yeah.
And so you hit that right on the head, Vicky. And another thing that you said is the foundation. And the foundation sometimes can be shaky in certain parts of the world, but if you get those individuals that come together to build a strong foundation, no
Yeah.
matter what
The
type.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's the people, no matter what. For perfect example, I met Jamel through work. You know what I'm saying? And even though me and him no longer work at that establishment that brought us together, we still created a bond regardless. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
you know, the best analogy I got for this is each country is your own house.
Yeah.
And depending on what you built that foundation on, which is the people,
Yeah.
and if they are together, that building will stand. And if your people are separated and divided, your building will fall.
Yeah.
It's,
Divided you
it's
fall. Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
And so I think the more that everybody buys into the foundation of coming together,
Coming together. In
it'll
spirit.
help.
Yeah.
Yes, it'll help everybody, just mentally for
Yeah.
sure get through this
Yes.
whole situation.
I
Because
think you're exactly right about coming together mentally, you know, and that is such an important tenant principle, because we have been told by regulations, social distance, lock down, keep your house, stay home safe. Yeah, which is
yeah,
true, and which I do and respect, and I think all of us do. And I
yeah,
think
yeah,
what more we have to emphasize is the psychological defense, the psychological unity that we should be spreading, like what you say. There's so much love in your community where you come from. It's never an understatement to say that someone can give a little bit more love, and it's not an understatement to say that someone needs a little bit more love. It's
yeah,
never, it's never sufficient, and you can always give a little bit more.
yes,
Yeah, and I think that is the commodity, that I think, like what you're saying, that you see the love that in its exchange. It's almost like what you say, the goods that one country needs, another country has, there's always this exchange. And like what you're doing now in that analogy, you and I are exchanging a kind of love in humanity. You
Yeah.
know, and this kind of love in humanity, I think if anyone sees the whatever thing that has come out of the pandemic, I think it would be that level of global community and the global community care, that your neighbor isn't just your next door. Knock on the
Yeah.
door. Not your neighbor could be the another country. Your
Yeah.
neighbor could be another place like in Africa, in Europe, and just to feedback to Lamar, we're having this conversation. In the European Union now, in Europe now, it's such a huge raging of the situation. But of course, because I try to shut all these news out, because it's going to go into my
Yeah.
mental, like what you say, it's
Oh
so
no, I don't
important
blame
that
you.
if we don't have that support mentally, that spiritual support mentally, it really gets into you, because this is a prolonged pandemic we're talking about. We're into 2021,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
We're
I
into
mean,
2021, and this thing
we're a whole
seems
year
like
into this
we
now.
still do not have any real uh, deadline. If
Yeah.
if you're doing your catering business, you're gonna say, okay, I need the food by tomorrow 5
Yeah.
p.m. That's the deadline. But this is the first time in human history there is no deadline to say that, okay, that date everyone is gonna go back to work. It's going to go back to normal. The economy is going to go back to normal. The company is going to employ again. You're going to have a salary again, and the stocks are going to go back. I mean, this is the time whereby people are living in tremendous uncertainties,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And because there's such tremendous uncertainties in everyone's mind, in a very unconscious, subliminal level, and that's why it humbled a lot of people. And that's
Hmm.
why people start to reach out. And that's why I need you and you need me. I
No.
mean, in the worst of the situation, I think there's some light, Lamar.
No, no, and that's the beauty of it. And that's I'm glad that, you know, thanks to modern day technology, we're able to still somewhat connect with the outside world, because I mean, we're all in this mental battle right now.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't.
You're right, because you can't make any plans.
No, you can't. You
You can't
can't.
make any plans. You can't make any plans for 2021 and 2022. You can't. I mean, God is literally, the universe is literally telling that I'm sorry, you don't know tomorrow. Just live for
Yeah.
today, and do the best that you can, and live your best self as a best
Mm.
person that you can today.
Now that's awesome right there, because I mean, you 100% right. You know, I like in this moment right now, I'm enjoying our conversation because there's no guarantee that I'm gonna be here tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? There's no guarantee that,
Yeah.
my friends and family are gonna be here tomorrow, and that's the true uncertainty that I don't think a lot of people are grasping, is that,
Yeah.
life was already such a fragile
Yeah.
thing to begin with, and
Yeah.
now that you throw a
You
pandemic
kind
on
of
top of
compound it and compound it and
it, yeah,
compound it.
yes, and this is one of my biggest things. You have to give people their flowers while you can. You have to
Wow.
appreciate everybody while you can. I mean, look, if you can find a way to Zoom, stream live, jump on Facebook, whatever,
Wow.
reach out and tell somebody you love them, because we do not know what tomorrow is going to bring. And I mean, that's the biggest thing about this whole situation, is that it was like that before the pandemic, where you didn't know when it was, your last day. You didn't know.
Life is fragile
It's very
already.
fragile. It's
And,
very
and I
fragile.
like the way that you said, like, give the flowers today.
Yes.
No, give the flowers today. And I love it the way you say it's like, if you can give the flowers today and don't even postpone that.
Yeah.
I feel that we're living, as much as things look normal, we can still use the phone, we can still text, but the uncertainties are there about life, about going back to normal life and normalcy. And of course, there are lots of saying about this is already the new normal.
Yeah.
This is already the new normal. People are like you and I, we connected. The globe has suddenly accelerated in its connection, right? It was already connected before. You've got the YouTube, you've the Google, but all of a sudden we're just thrown into a virtual world. That
Yeah.
all of a sudden humanity became connected. Humanity found the voice. Humanity came together. Humanity has this kind of revelation that, hey, I'm speaking the same language as you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
100%.
yeah, and if this is already the new normal, we won't go back to that old normal whereby we are segregated, we are
Yes.
divided in that sense. Um, so I would think that this thing will definitely continue. It doesn't mean that post-pandemic we're not going to use the Zoom anymore. It's not going to do that. I mean, we've got the phone. I mean, the phone has started and the phone has continued. It's like we are already connected now. We will be more and more and more connected.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's one thing. The world has come together in one sense, and on the other side, you're also saying, right, even as the world come together, we also realize that life is fragile. In this connected world, give while you can. Say I love you while you can. Give the flowers while you can. Because even with technology that we're given, the infrastructure, we
Hmm.
became more and more vulnerable. Am I
Yeah.
right to say that?
No, I mean, Vicky, you hit it right on the head. I mean, and what I'm really optimistic on seeing is once we get through this pandemic, if
Yeah,
we can keep it, you know what
yeah,
I'm saying? It's like I don't want to keep going through, you know, traumatic and devastating events to make sure, reminders that,
yeah.
hey, yeah, life is fragile. I want to make sure that when this pandemic passes through,
Yeah.
is that
People wake
people,
up. People wake
yeah,
up.
wake up.
Yeah,
You should still be able to find that connection even with different types of people throughout the walk of life that going to relate to anything that you're going through.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
I just hope that the world can find a way to keep the love and keep the bond going, that that's going to help us get through this pandemic, and
yeah,
hopefully
yeah,
build better relationships outside the pandemic. So,
yeah. Lamar, tell us what's happening. Like if you're going out to the street right now, which part of the U.S. are you residing? Arizona, right?
no, I'm in North Carolina.
North Carolina. What do you
Yeah.
see in the streets, and when you go to the shops, what do you see? How are the shops
Um,
holding out? I mean, we're talking about the general stores. How are they holding out? The small little restaurants, the small little deliveries, the grocery stores, the retail. How are they holding out?
for the most part, things like, barbershops, most small little restaurants,
Mm,
um, you'll get, if they have their general following of customers,
mm,
they're still there to support.
yeah,
But there's still some restaurants that just didn't make it. Either they couldn't afford the rent that they were
yeah.
at, or another thing is the cost of food. Cost of food is has gone up tremendously.
Oh, tell us about the cost of food. This is something that I'm interesting. Like for example, has it gone up by how much percent? Like you used to buy this amount of potatoes at this price, and now it's this price. Can you tell us like some comparison?
So just in my catering company, I was
Yeah,
able to get a 40-pound case of chicken for maybe
40 pound
maybe
chicken.
Yeah, 40 pound case of chicken maybe for like 70, $80. And now during this pandemic, I'm almost spending 100. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Now
So
that is a lot of, it's like from 70 to 100, that is almost like 50%.
I mean, and that's why some restaurants are just not making it. You know, the food
Oh,
cost has
okay.
gone up, and if you can't afford your food as a restaurant, I mean, that generally kind of kills your chance of survival.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And then you talk about paying your employees and paying your rent where you're located at, and then
yeah.
paying whatever kind of overhead else there is. I mean,
Mm.
a lot of people, restaurant wise, are trying to find a way to keep their overhead down, and unfortunately, that usually starts with employees. So you know, there's people who are still losing jobs, and I've noticed that majority of the jobs that are coming available are people
Yeah,
like Amazon, Walmart. You know,
yeah,
they're trying to find jobs for people, which is great.
yeah,
But sometimes when you keep feeding into the big giant guys,
yeah,
you know, they were already rich before the
yeah,
pandemic. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, and then you know that leaves your mom and pop stores hanging onto a
Wow.
thread, trying to
Okay.
survive, trying to get through. And
Okay. My interpretation is this, and the way I imagine. You've got this big, huge, giant uh, companies, Amazon, right? Costco, right? These are the big companies, right? And they are able to sail through this pandemic because they've got so much reserves. They've got so much
mhm,
money. They can draw on it. They can say that, hey, we can really keep the cost down for our goods, etc. But the mom and pop stalls, because they've got not so much money and the prices are rising up, they have to charge and pass the prices in terms of prices to the customers, and the customers aren't going to these general stores because the general stores, they cannot buffer the increase in the price. However,
you're
the
right.
huge companies, they can buffer up the price, and they don't feel anything,
Yeah,
right?
and
Just
Vicky,
a little bit of
that's
increase, it
already
doesn't
happening.
hurt them at all because they're immune to the price increase, right?
Yeah.
But it
No,
is
no,
the small
you're a
companies
hundred
that is feeling that pain because whatever increase hits them directly
percent.
into the money in the pocket for them to pay the rent, to pay the tax, to buy the goods, and to pay the people. I mean, the workers. So that's why this whole pandemic hits it hard
Mm-hmm.
on the small companies. And not only that, the big companies are eating up the small companies.
Yes, yes. I mean, because you hit it right on the head. Most of these local restaurants and shops, they have begun since the pandemic. There is a pandemic charge on certain things. I mean,
Oh,
they
pandemic
they
charge.
yes, and it's funny that you said it because right when you said it, like I've ordered food a couple of places, and you look at your receipt, it has all the goods that you ordered, and then it has this, the North Carolina sales tax, and then right under there, it says COVID-19 charge, and no,
Really?
really, no,
Wow.
really, it's on there, and
COVID-19 charge. Okay, yeah.
yes,
I mean, they have it because they got to clean. They got to run the
yes,
sanitation. I mean, it's an extra burden on small companies.
it is, and
And
then
the small companies, they can't take that.
they can't, but unfortunately they have to do it because when you have an increase in your goods that you sell,
Yeah,
you have to make up that difference somewhere, and
yeah.
the only way you can do it is you have to raise your prices on
You
your
have to
goods
raise
that
your
you sell.
prices. Yeah,
And then the people that can really afford it, they're not really worried about your price increase, but not everybody has that same type of income. So when you
yeah.
get your regular group of people that have always
Coming
been
in.
supported,
Yeah.
They start teetering that line. You know, can I stick
Yeah,
with
and they will
you?
start going to somewhere that is cheaper, like the big
Yes,
box
yes,
stores, right?
yes. It's a
Because the
cause
big
and
box
effect
stores,
for
they don't feel
everything.
it, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's like if you got a million and the price goes 10 cents, it doesn't mean
yeah,
anything to them, right? But if you got a
yeah.
small stores that has only $10 and you increase 10 cents, it makes a huge difference.
It makes a huge difference,
Yeah.
and it's sad to see that this pandemic has caused people to do that. But as a small restaurant, what can
There's
you
no
do?
way you can run away from it because it's like a tax.
Yes. I mean, what can you do as a
It's like
small
a
company?
tax.
Yes.
It's a tax. It's not like you are trying to squeeze every profit. It's not a time to profiteer. There's nothing to profiteer. I mean,
Mm-mm.
there's nothing to profit. People are just trying to 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 survive, like what you say, to survive and just to stay afloat. So that they
Yes.
can stay afloat. Hopefully, they can make it to the other side of the bank, right?
Yes. And that's, I think, to me, in my
Yeah,
opinion, that's probably one of the roughest things about this pandemic.
yeah.
Because you already touched on it earlier. When's the deadline for this thing? When is it going to be over? Because you got
Big one.
restaurants and you got small restaurants literally hanging on by a thread. Just, man, if I could just get through this pandemic, if I'll be okay. And nobody has any clue of when this stuff is going to just going to pass through. Nobody knows, and unfortunately, that uncertainty is literally taking away people's lives, lifestyles. Is taking away their dreams. You know what I'm saying? That mom and pop store that they
Mom and
built, they
pop
probably
stores.
been dreaming about that for forever. And they got the opportunity. I mean, there's places that's been open in Carolina and back in my hometown in Kansas City. There's places that literally have been open for 40, 50 years as mom and pop stores.
What's the name of the store?
No, I mean, I can't throw one off the top of my head, but I'm just saying in general,
In
there's certain
general.
restaurants
Yeah.
that are literally, been in
They have been
community.
there forever, but they had to shut it out now.
Yeah, they get. I mean, especially in this time, like it gets rough because then even before I started my catering company, right in the middle of the pandemic, the place that I was working at, they furloughed me. I was, I
Wow.
was one of their best employees. I could cook with the best of them that was in that building, but they had to make a decision, as in we can't afford
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was the first time I ever got on assistance with the state, as in trying to make ends meet. You know, it was a
It
pride
was
pill I
tough.
had.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was tough
Yeah. Because
because
you being a father of two, right? You're not like that young 20-year-old guy who can just take on any gigs if there is. If there isn't,
yeah,
it's okay. You're just gonna lie on the couch. You have got mouths to feed in a house,
yeah, yeah,
and your children are looking towards you as like, Dad, when is my cookie? Where is my favorite? Whatever. You don't want them to feel like they missed out. You don't want them to miss out the extra McDonald's nuggets. You don't want them to miss out on the shaker fries. You don't want them to miss out on the Big Mac that they're looking forward to. It's I would say that it's a God's blessing that your catering come after you're followed, and then your company kind of survive and took off. But again, for a small company like yourself, but any small company, because there isn't a foreseeable future that this is going to like go back normal, right? That curve is going to go back. Sometimes does it get rough, like you decide, okay, this month the sales are not coming in through. Do we decide to continue? Do we not decide to continue? Does that occur in your mind sometimes?
oh, Vicky, every
Wow.
day that thought passes through my mind, because you look at your numbers, you like, man, this is getting rough.
Yeah, it's getting rough.
and then and then you think about exactly why you're doing it.
Yeah.
I think about the love and the passion I have for what I do. I think about the people that supported me on
Yeah.
my dream. I think
Yeah.
about, most of all, I think about my children. You
Yeah.
know,
Children. Yeah.
I named my company after my children. You know,
Yeah. Wow.
so it's, you know, yes, that I literally just had that thought yesterday, Vicky. I looked at my numbers. I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm not getting nowhere. Like,
Yeah.
and then I think about why I am doing it. You know, there's people that love what I do. Um, so
No, you
I'm
are trying to find some reasons to sustain you through, empower
exactly,
you through,
exactly,
even
exactly.
when there's you don't see a light at the end of the tunnel, and you don't know how long this tunnel is gonna be because you just have to go on and on. And I hear you, and the thing is that I think a lot of businesses echo what you just described. It's a long, deep, dark tunnel,
It's a long tunnel. Oh, that
and you're
tunnel
just
is
going
long.
through. You're just like trying to like search through, charge through, and power through, and not knowing that when is this tunnel going to go? How
Yeah.
long is it going to last? How more curves are you going to make? Will it be hit again by a next curve? Will it be worthwhile? All this effort. What if at some point in time you found that, hey, I shouldn't have done this? I mean, whatever I put in, plowed in, it was all rolled back.
Hmm.
I mean, businesses are struggling through with these decisions, and these decisions are real. Um, these decisions are real for a small business. Lamar, I hear you. I listen up to you. How do you find as a husband, as a business owner, where do you get your source of strength? That if you know that for the next, it's hard to plan for long term, but
Yeah.
you for the next 1 month, 2 months, how do you think you keep yourself strong for that?
I mean, honestly, if I'm not at the catering company, I'm spending time with my family. I mean,
Family.
they keep me humble, they keep me grounded, they keep me
Wow.
motivated. Most importantly, is because I mean, Vic, you hit it right on the head. I've had those thoughts so many times since I opened up my catering company in October. Like, why am I doing this? Like, am I going to be able to get through on the other side? But what keeps me motivated is
Yeah.
that every time I make some type of food and somebody enjoys it, that's what motivates me. You know what I'm saying? Every time somebody purchases a good from me and they be like, yo, that
Wow.
was phenomenal. That tasted awesome.
Wow. Can
That
we get
keeps
it
me
delivered here?
hey, I'm working on that. I'm
Can
working
we
on
get
that.
the Uber Eats?
I'm working
Can
on
we
that.
get the
Yeah, yeah,
Amazon?
yeah, yeah, yeah. We gotta
Can no?
we gotta
Can we
find a
have
way to
like?
get some international
No, I'm
shipping.
talking about. Can we have the 3D printing food here?
But I mean,
Yeah,
when my biggest thing is that I continue to do it because
yeah,
in my mind
yeah,
that when this thing is over, when this
yeah,
pandemic is over,
yeah,
and as long as I'm still standing, once
yeah.
it's over,
You
if
will.
I can get through that, I
Yeah,
can do anything. You know what I'm saying?
you can
Like,
fly.
oh
Your
man,
business will definitely. You know what, Lamar? I really hear you out, and uh, I would like you to wrap this up in the next 3 minutes. As a business owner, as a dad, as someone who's in a community, giving love, receiving love, empowering through this tunnel that none of us. Okay, I'm just telling you, it's not only there where you are in North
mhm,
Carolina, every part of the world. Okay, you don't know um, where this is going to take us, even with the vaccination. All right,
yeah,
we don't know where it's going to take us. We don't know when and how. What form it's going to take, how it's going to look. You know, definitely it's not going to be the same as before. But how is it going to look like? I think it's going to be hard for anyone to say that it's going to look like this. I think we're really trying to like touch in the dark, kind of like move around and feel around in the dark of the tunnel. Tell us that in the next like 3 minutes, our first session with you. If anyone is dialing in right now with Lamar Wallace in his show From the People for the People, I like anyone to come on again next Thursday, same time, 9 p.m. Singapore time, for about 40 to 45 minutes with Lamar and hear him as a business owner, as a father, as a man who loves the family, as a man who loves the community, and a man who is like receiving love and giving love. Hear him, tune in to the show. But for Lamar, for the next 3 to 5 minutes, tell us what revelation do you have uh, for your business as a family man during this prolonged period of pandemic?
Pretty much it's just, you know, sticking to your faith, sticking to your beliefs. But also don't be too stubborn enough to accept help. Don't be too stubborn enough to
Yes.
recognize that you need help.
Yeah.
Um, you know, if one thing that this pandemic has taught me
Yeah.
is that it wasn't never a solo journey.
So we'll join.
Um, you know, we already said that life is fragile, but life is also it's an effort of a lot of people that help mold you as an individual. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, there's lessons that I've learned from my mother, my father, my sister, my spouse. I mean, my 3 and 5-year-old have taught me life lessons. You know what I'm saying? So um you gotta appreciate every moment, every second that you have with your loved ones, your family, and your close friends. And don't be so closed off. Be open, be willing to accept love and appreciation and help, and at the same time is give it. You got to be able to give love and appreciation and help to other people. This moment in this world has got to bring out the best in you, and if you don't, man, it's going to be a rough time for you. You got people, you got to figure out how to open up and love each other. I mean, that's the only way we're going to get through this crazy world we're living in right now. That is the only way. We have to figure out how to make sure that we are looking out for one of another. I mean, that's the biggest thing, is to realize that is you're not the only person going through this crazy time. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be somebody that's out there, dealing with the same situation you are. That's going to have similar scenarios that you're dealing with, and just find a way to connect with people. Find a way to relate to other people that are, I mean, this world is crazy right now, and I'm taking it a day by day. Um, I'm trying to count all my blessings while I can. I'm trying to make sure I show appreciation, thanks, and love to everybody while I can. You know what I'm saying? It's This world has done that to you. I mean, if it hasn't humbled you yet, it will. And unfortunately, I hate for people to get through and go through a humbling situation to finally realize how so much life is so short and how much life is fragile. And then you throw on the burden of a pandemic. I mean, is getting heavy out here emotionally for a lot of people. And you just got to reach out and find a way to just keep pushing through. Because if one thing, this is really more than a mental battle than anything else.
Yes.
So surround yourself with some good people. That's the only way I've been getting through, Vicky. That's been the
Yeah.
only way I've been getting through, is I surround myself with good people that literally are just not trying to dwell on the negativity.
Yeah.
We're all trying to make sure we get through this. You know what I'm saying? Even connecting with you, Vicky, like that. This helps. This helps people mental. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a mental battle. I
It
mean,
is a mental battle.
it sucks to say it that during the pandemic, domestic abuse and depression has gone up, the rise in that. And it hurts my heart that people are dealing with certain mental things that they can easily get help with by just connecting with somebody. All you
Yeah.
need is just that
True.
one person
That's
to
very
connect with.
true.
So um, that's probably my final thoughts. World, just
I
reach
think
out to
you're, yeah.
somebody and love on somebody. That's what's going to get us through this whole battle.
Lamar, very well said as you wrap up the last 5 minutes and all these words that you say. I think we can feel it here. It's all from your heart. It's all from your gut. It's
Yeah,
all from the bottom of your
it
heart where
is.
the gut is.
It is. It's because I see it. You know what I'm saying? When I'm
Yeah,
out in
yeah,
the streets, when I'm doing all my catering stuff, I see the people in hurt, but I also see the people with so much love.
yeah,
And it gives me, like I said, it gives me good optimism on that. If the world can get through this, we
yeah.
can do anything. So
Yeah, and I think your theme for the day is really community and love. Thank you so much. And before I leave you, which I'll try to hold on to you another couple of minutes, I want to tell anyone who's dialing in, people who is coming in, don't click, click, click. I hope that you can really see through the whole 60 minutes of the interview with Lamar Wallace. Don't miss out any part. When you watch a good quality video online in YouTube, like ourselves, talk about life here. We're trying to bring wholesome news, wholesome material in a very chaotic internet world. Wholesome things that anyone can dial in. It could be a young child, it could be someone old, something that we can give to another person through our conversations. People who are dialing in now, I would like to repeat that February is dedicated to the people. It's called the Prolonged Pandemic. And on Thursdays, we've got Lamar Wallace of podcast, I Often Wonder, one of the rising stars of the podcast world. I'm so honored to have Lamar Wallace represent the team with Jamil and Alex's wonderful people, which I hope that they can come onto the show again. And I would like to share with everyone, Darlin, to Lamar's show from the people for the people, where Lamar is going to share with you what's happening in his community. He talks about the truck driver. There's so much people who just plow through difficult times in a pandemic, driving one and a half hours because the workers are worth it. The co-workers made it worth it. The
mhm.
love made it worth it. And that is a story that we should bring, with us at the end of this session, is that I know no matter where you are, it could be your workplace, it could be the community, it could be your company, it could be your family. I think that love will see us through this very difficult times, like what Lamar is talking about. Tune in next Thursday, 9 p.m. Singapore time, uh, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 a.m. Central Eastern Time for live show. And then again, it's going to be there forever on the internet. Dial in, watch in, and don't click, click, click forward. Listen through. Listen through
Yeah,
the whole video. Don't click forward, please. This is the same thing what I do. I always click forward because I'm so impatient. I want to get to the end. What's the message? So I would like to urge listeners, podcast listeners, viewers, don't click through, watch through. And thank you so much, Lamar. I would like you to come back again for your show, which is your floor, to tell us, to the world, current affairs that is happening to the people. We want to cut all these big news megaphones out. We want to cut out the news corp, the news corporations out. We want to bring into the voice of the people. Tell us what's really happening around your community, Lamar. Share with us, good, bad, in the middle, something that we can learn. What's your revelation? What's your reflection? So everyone, tuning to Lamar's show, from the people, for the people, next Thursday. And Lamar, I enjoy so much every time with you and your team from I Often Wonder podcast. Send my love and my regards to your whole team from Singapore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lamar, 30 seconds, final. Want to say goodbye?
Yes. Again, Vicky, thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for having me. And literally, I'm glad that we have people like you in this world. I'm telling you, you're going to help us get through this, Vicky. You're going to help us.
Thank you. And one more word before you log on. Any Singapore government official who is tuning into my podcast, and nothing political. And I'm not a political person. I don't talk about politics, and I think I'm just above it. All right, let's talk about life. Let's talk about people. Let's talk about humanity. Let's talk about love, faith, trust, coming together, staying strong, powering through this very, very strange, dark times for all of us. Thank you so much, Lamar. Send my
Thank you,
love to
Vicky.
your family, especially
I
to your
shall.
two beautiful children. Come in again. We like to hear from you again. More news and more stories from where you are.
All right, Vicky. Thank you. I'll see you next Thursday.
Next Thursday. Bye. All the best. Stay safe.
You too.